Really made.
FYF Sports, man. We back. Breaking news today about the Ball family, man. Got some good news for you guys. A lot of the haters are gonna cringe when they see this news, man. Before we get into today's news, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you haven't done so already. Again, we drop breaking news videos, reactions, lives. Anything you want to see sports related, we drop it here on FYF Sports, man. The best sports podcast on YouTube. Make sure you tune in. We try to go live daily, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We try to go live. If you got any questions, comments, or concerns, you just want to jump in, chop it up with the guys. Don't be scared. Jump in the live streams, hit the link, join the chat, man. And we can chop it up from there. But today we got some breaking news, man. Breaking news. Sham Charania dropped on his Twitter that LiAngelo Ball has just signed a non-guaranteed contract, to be exact, a 1-year non-guaranteed Exhibit 10 contract with the Detroit Pistons. And I think with this being said, I think it's easy to when this news comes out, it's easy to automatically revert to LeVar Ball and say, oh, look what LeVar Ball did, or look what LeVar Ball got all of his sons in the league. I don't really want to take it in that context, because I know getting into going that far to get an opportunity to play in the NBA is not about what somebody else does. It's about the work you put in. And over the last couple of years, after dealing with a lot of ankle injuries, after dealing with the dramatic situation at UCLA, dealing with the suspension, getting caught stealing in China, having to go play overseas, having to play on a G League practice team, to now having an opportunity to play for the Detroit Pistons in the NBA, that only comes from intestinal fortitude, hard work, and grinding in the gym night in and night out. Again, these NBA teams just don't offer anybody these contracts. All right, if you get offered a non-guaranteed contract, Dwight Howard was playing on a non-guaranteed contract last year. These are serious. When you get offered this contract, it's serious. It's not because of LeVar Ball speaking it up. It's not because of LeVar Ball running his mouth. It's because LiAngelo Ball got in the gym, put in work, and showed people that he belonged in the NBA. All right. Now, the one thing that I've always said that directly translates to the NBA and the way the game is played right now, he has an elite ability to make catch and shoot threes. All right. There are a lot of teams that could use that. Now, is Detroit one of those teams? Well, we know one thing is that they need guards. They're a team right now loaded with a lot of forwards. They lack shooting, especially elite level shooting. So if you can bring in a guy like this who has proven on multiple stages, whether it's high school, whether it's college, whether it's overseas, he's on every level that he's played, he's proven to be an elite 3-point shooter. If he can show that at this level, if he can find a role or find a niche, he can have a long career in the NBA. But again, when you get to this stage, it's not about being complacent. Now you really got to dig in and grind and work even harder. But I just wanted to drop this video, man, to give a big appreciation and a big shout out to LiAngelo Ball, man. Finally getting the opportunity to showcase what he can do in the NBA. I mean, if you guys have followed him, if you guys follow platforms like Ball Facts, like DKM, AB the Hero, even for Hard Vision, you guys would know. Even DJ Raw's Uncut Truth. You follow these guys, you guys will understand and respect the grind of LiAngelo Ball. Just a little bit more. Not just watching the Ball in the Family Facebook show. I mean, obviously that gives you a glimpse into their personal life. You don't necessarily see the work that these guys put in behind the scenes on the court. I mean, and when you're dealing with the type of injuries that he's been dealing with, I mean, as a shooter myself, any injuries to your feet, to your legs, all of that affects your shot. It affects your shot confidence. So for him to fight through those types of injuries, not only get through those types of injuries, but put himself in a position where he can now be an NBA player, man, I think that's elite. Now, when we talk about what LeVar Ball himself has accomplished, well, what LeVar Ball has accomplished out of this is he's shown you that you don't have to do things the traditional method. Going the standard college route is not always the way to go. Now, he showed you the standard college route with Lonzo. That got Lonzo. Okay, it can be done that way. He showed you the non-traditional overseas route. Going to prep school, going overseas with LaMelo. Jello, the middle child who was just kind of overlooked. I mean, a lot of people would say that, he was slightly, for his size and his position, he was probably a bit too slow, probably heavier than you would want him to be at 6'4". But at the end of the day, whenever he played with Lonzo and LaMelo, he was always the leading scorer of those teams. When he played at Chino Hills, he was the leading scorer. When he played in the JBA, he was the leading scorer. When he played in Lithuania with LaMelo, he scored more points a game than LaMelo. He's always found a way to be exceptional on the offensive end of the court wherever he's went. And so I think that's something that can directly translate into this game. Now, a lot of people are going to cry, can he guard at the NBA level? Well, I think, my thing is, I think if you got guys, if you got guys like Trae Young, if you got, there are a lot of guys who just give max effort on the defensive end in the NBA and under a team setting when you got a great team defensive concept. I think it's more so about just giving maximum effort and then just allowing whatever skills you have defensively. If it's playing passing lanes, if it's being able to switch better than the pick and roll than this man over here, then you can accentuate what you do best. But I don't think there's a perfect defensive player. I think he could be solid defensively. I think with his size, I think his size is going to be more of a benefit than a detriment. Because now he could be more of a physical guard. If he can learn how to utilize his size and strength in a similar way, similar to what James Harden has done. James Harden, we're not going to say he's the greatest defensive player out there, but defensively, he's found a niche. And his niche has been, if he gets switched off onto bigs in the low post, he's become an elite post defender. And that's shocking to say, but James Harden, he takes whatever gifts that he has and he's able to use them on the defensive end. He just doesn't get credit for them because of his flaws defensively are so glaring. Now, this past year, we saw James Harden give more effort defensively. And because he gave more effort defensively, you saw how much improved that Houston Rockets team was defensively, especially in the NBA bubble going into the playoffs, where the Houston Rockets were ranked the number one defensive team in the NBA. So I think LiAngelo Ball has a great. I think this is the perfect opportunity for him. I think this is the perfect team, a team that definitely needs shooting, a team that definitely needs more guards, and this team is going to give him a chance to shine and show what he can do in the NBA. So again, I give a big shout out to the people that really stuck by. I've been a big advocate of the Ball family. I've been a big supporter of what LeVar Ball has been doing. I didn't fall into that tangent to where I wanted to start crying about every little thing that he said, and people started making a big deal about, oh, he said this about Steph Curry or he said this about LeBron, and then you start falling into that little petty back and forth beef about, oh, he said this and I didn't like it. I didn't really want to get that deep into it because, again, at the end of the day, I felt LeVar Ball is still a great example of not just a black father, but just what having a father in the home can do for a family. This is for any family, whether it's black, white, Asian, Indian, Chinese. He's showing you right there that when the father takes the lead role in raising, especially his sons, this is what happens. And when the father gives the utmost confidence and he instills that confidence into his children, into his sons, you see what it can do. There was a point in time when especially when LaMelo, when he went to Spire Academy and his ranking on ESPN dropped to like number 21, there were a lot of people, who felt, they felt that a lot of people who felt that LaMelo Ball was a bust, that no one thought he could be the next draft pick. They had guys like Nico Mannion, RJ Hampton, all of these guys that we saw just get drafted. All of these guys were ranked a lot higher than LaMelo. They all were. And the one thing that we saw was LeVar Ball, he stood firm. He stood the course. He stuck to the plan. He didn't panic. He didn't go the traditional route, what everybody was saying, what he should or shouldn't do. He did things his way, and it actually worked. And then the same thing worked with Lonzo. He did things his way. It worked out for Lonzo. And obviously, Jello, with him being a bit undersized, with him getting to that trouble at UCLA, his career took a different path. But LeVar Ball helped put together a plan that got him into the NBA as well. And I mean, there are only a handful of families that have been able to successfully get multiple brothers into the NBA. You talk about the Plumleys, you got the Holiday brothers, things of that nature. It's something. It's definitely an accomplishment. But for me, I think what you can really take out of that is that he's done an exceptional job raising these kids. He's done an exceptional job marketing these kids. The marketing aspect of it also helps too. We know we all understand the politics of the NBA. There is a financial and business side to it that plays a role into players getting signed to teams. So we can't gloss or look over that. But we have to really, we have to look at the job that he's done from the marketing standpoint. Making sure we all remembered who LiAngelo was. Giving them opportunities with the OKC Blue. And then I think the best move that LeVar motivated his sons into doing was signing with the right agencies, giving them the opportunity to sign with agencies that were going to believe in his sons the same way he believed in them. I think, and if you listen to what LeVar Ball says, one of the main things that he talks about is having people around his kids that believe in them the same way he did. If they have that same vision, he's fine with them taking the reins and allowing them to develop his kids. And that's something that I really appreciate, because what it does is it allows the kids, the sons, to get out from under the wing of the parents, to move on, be grown men and make their own decisions, but also have guidance similar to what he would be able to perpetuate if he was there. So again, I just wanted to give a big shout out to not just the Ball family, but definitely give a big shout out to LiAngelo Ball for staying the course, for continuing to work. And if you guys haven't saw this guy work, definitely check out Ball Facts videos on his channel. Definitely check out AB the Hero and DKM. These guys put out a lot of content on the Ball family, and you can really see the grind that this guy put in. He dropped weight. He got into better shape. He continued to work on his jump shot. And the main thing that I like to see is that now he's 100% healthy. Those ankles are fine and he's ready to go. And this is what I like about the NBA so far. The NBA has been giving us so many things. Now we look forward to we're looking forward to seeing some of these preseason games. With all the trades, with all the roster changes, with the rookies that got drafted, when we look at the changes to the Golden State Warriors, preseason is going to be just as exciting. So I think the NBA's done a really good job of not just, unlike the bubble, I think they did a better job of marketing what's to come. I like the Christmas Day game schedule as well. And all of that plays a big role into how the NBA can continue to be successful, even when fans aren't in the seats and when these stadiums aren't at 100% capacity, bringing in that extra revenue. So again, I want you guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about LiAngelo Ball in the comments. I really want to know what you guys think about that. We're probably going to be talking about this a lot in the chat tonight. When we go live tonight, we're really going to chop it up about this topic right here. I mean, how do you guys personally feel about LeVar Ball? Do you think he only got signed because of LeVar Ball? I mean, I've already listened to a few other YouTubers and talk about this topic. And, although they were giving him his praise, at the same time, they're also saying that, oh, he only got signed because of LeVar Ball's mouth. Do you guys think that's true? I don't want to take that away from anybody. Whenever you get a shot in the NBA, I'm not going to credit that to anybody but yourself. Getting into the NBA is not easy. There's only 450 players in the league. There's only 450 spots. And if you can capture one of those spots at any given time, you have my respect. You have my respect because, again, that doesn't happen just because someone else tells you to sign a player. That happens because you put in the work to put yourself in that position. So, LiAngelo Ball, my main thing is I'm curious to see how they're going to actually use him. Well, what's their goal? Are they going to bring him off the bench? Are they going to thrust him right into the starting lineup immediately? Like, what are they going to do with this guy? I think if you try to turn him into a corner 3-point specialist, I think that would be the absolute best role for him as the 6 or 7 man. I even spoke with a couple people in our live chat a few weeks ago, and I'm thinking, if the Los Angeles Lakers can pick up a guy like LiAngelo Ball, then he could be like a corner 3-point specialist when you got guys like LeBron and AD driving to the basket, and all he needs to do is just make open shots. I think that's a role he could fulfill. Maybe he can show that this is something that he can do for contending teams. Maybe we will see him with another team doing the same thing. But as it stands right now, he's a Detroit Piston. And again, I really want to see you guys spam up the comment section about this one right here, because this is some of the biggest news of free agency. This is one of the biggest signings. And for me, again, it makes me more proud to be an avid supporter of the Ball family. Not just because I like them as players, but because I respect what they're doing off the court, how they're marketing themselves, how LeVar Ball is teaching his boys about financial independence. Even though some of the kids, when we look at LaMelo and Lonzo, even though they've branched away from the big baller brand, look at what they're doing. We just saw LaMelo Ball start his own clothing line. We just saw Lonzo do the same thing with his own shoe line and clothing line. See, LeVar Ball instilled in them the value of being financially independent, owning your own brand, and controlling your own net worth. So, that's something we're also going to chop up as well, because I think that is one of the things that he does not get any credit for. He gets, I don't want to give him credit for LiAngelo getting signed by the Pistons. I want to give him credit for helping instill the value and knowledge into LaMelo for starting his own clothing line. The same thing with Lonzo, being able to start your own businesses outside of basketball, understanding that your career is only going to last 10 to 15 years at best, and that's barring any major injuries. And there's actually life after basketball that you need to prepare yourself for. So I think he's preparing them not just for basketball, but for the long haul, life after basketball. And he's doing a great job at it. I mean, I know a lot of kids admire him primarily because of the fact that they wish they had a father in the home that could do the same thing for them. And I think that's the big point that a lot of people miss, especially when you're so emotionally connected to some of the things that he says, and you're so butthurt about, oh, he said this or that. I think when you start getting caught up in your feelings about some of the things that he says, you actually miss the big point. So there are a lot of people that have got to eat their words today. A lot of people they're gonna have to come out today and say, LeVar Ball was right. LeVar Ball actually did it the right way. His method, there was a method to the madness. And just because you don't like the way it was done, again, that's called your feelings. And that's what we talk about here on FYF Sports. Get out your feelings, forget your feelings, see the big picture, and then maybe you would have hopped on this train a long time ago. Because now, if you were one of those that were advocates, or if you were against LeVar Ball and you complained about every single thing that he did, well, now that train has crashed and burned, because we're starting to see a lot of successes come out of the Ball family right now. And then, one of the things that I also wanted to talk about was Thanksgiving. There are a lot of people that do not like LeVar Ball. They say that, he's leeching off of his boys. He's trying to make money off of them. And it's just funny that nobody talked about what he just did over Thanksgiving, where he got all 3 of the boys together and they provided Thanksgiving dinner to literally thousands of families out in LA. But I think that just gets unspoken about. It just doesn't even get. Nobody even talks about it. You know. So with all the money and fame that they have, and for them to be able to go back and give back to their communities, how many people that are against LeVar Ball, how many of those people are actually doing things like that? How many of those people are actually giving back to their communities that same way? Again, I hate people who leech off of the community. I hate people who leech off of every black man that does something positive, and you find the one or two negatives and then harp on those negatives. We're going to talk about all of that tonight in the live chat, because I think, again, this, we like to dive deep into topics. We don't just like to talk about the shell. We like to dive deep into it, get to the root causes of some of these issues, and why people are so emotionally tied into things that he says, and why did they miss the big picture? Because there were only a handful of people who saw the bigger picture. All right, and that's why I'm glad I met YouTubers like DKM and Ball Facts and AB the Hero. Because that's when I said I'm not the only one who thinks this way. There are actually other reasonable black men out there that think the same way and don't get so caught up in some of the more minor things that are more irrelevant. The basketball side of things, when he's talking about other players, the comments that don't really have any bearing on anything whatsoever, you're so caught up in those things that you miss the big picture. And we're going to be talking about that in our tonight's live. But again, LiAngelo Ball to the Pistons, man. It's been a great podcast video. You guys, make sure you spam up the comments. Let me know what you think. Get your thoughts ready. We'll be talking about it tonight. But until then, it's FYF Sports.